and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, then my name is Claire. If you're a returning viewer, then lovely to have you here as per usual. So today is New Year's Eve. As you'll know, if you've been following me, I've just had Christmas off Slimmingworld plan. I've eaten shed loads, all rubbish, and yeah, feel pretty minging because of it really, to be honest. So anyway, forgetting about what we've done over Christmas, I hope that whatever you've done, you have enjoyed and you've had a fabulous Christmas time with your family. Today for me, or this week actually, the last few days, is all about prepping and going into the new year. I've had a shopping delivery this morning. I have emptied out my fridge, got all of the out-of-date stuff off, had a little clean in there, got that all prepped and ready, planning on going through some of my cupboards later. And I'm now popping out to the shops just to get some other bits of food that I didn't really do a proper list. Today's all about getting ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be my first day back on plan, first day back in the new year. And so I'm now going to go out, I'm going to get my car cleaned, I'm going to get some shopping bits, and when I get home I'm going to meal plan. I've planned most of my meals actually, but I'm going to be filling out my planner. I am going to take my body measurements this time, and none of my jeans currently fit. I definitely feel very bloated. So I'm going to use a tape measure, I'm going to take my body measurements because I think that will be quite interesting to see how that coincides with weight loss, because I think sometimes if you're a bit bloated or it's that time of the month, you might lose inches, but it might not necessarily show in your weight loss. So I'm going to do my hardest now to start keeping a food diary, fitness plan. There's lots of things I'm planning on starting again in the new year. I've totally gone downhill with exercise. As a lot of you will know, I got into running earlier in the year and I haven't run for about 8 weeks now. Now I know for a fact that I felt better when I was running. I felt energized, I felt better in myself. It was really, really good for me, but it's just one of those things that I've let slide, and I think winter is the time when these things do tend to slide. So one of the things I'm gonna be working on going forward is getting my exercise back, and I feel like keeping track and keeping some progress, I'll show you through this later because this is a great book when I start to fill it in. Keeping progress of those things is really gonna help. I also thought later on we could just go through the Slimmingworld book. For those of you that are looking at starting Slimmingworld in the new year, we're just going to go through and take a look at the plan and just go through those basic things again that we need to get in place to start the new year off on plan, on track, and hitting those weight loss goals that we want to get. It's all about feeling better, looking better, and being where you want to be, as well as eating loads of great food. So anyway, that is what we have in today's vlog. So grab a cuppa and please do join me and enjoy. Aster Shop has just arrived. I'll run you through a few of the things I've got that I'm hoping are going to help me get straight back on plan. So I have got myself some salmon. Anyone who's been following me a while knows I love a salmon stir fry, so I always like to keep a stock of that in my freezer. I've got some fresh chicken. I've got some mince. It is the lean, less than 5% steak mince, which makes it free on Slimmingworld. Bananas are one of my favourite snacks on Slimmingworld. I tend to have a banana every day. I've been clearing out the bedroom, so stocking up on coat hangers. These are only $1.25 at Asda at the moment. I think that's a really good price for I like these velvet ones that I have in my room. They're nice. I've got some ham because I like a bit of ham, egg and beans for breakfast, or I'm planning sandwiches this week for lunch, so ham is there for that. Some fudge, 0% or Faya, I'm not sure how you say it. Fat-free yogurt. So fat-free yogurt is sin-free on Slimmingworld. This one is a 0% fat yogurt. It is my favourite one. I like having this instead of sour cream, and I'm doing chili bowls this week, so I'll have that instead of sour cream with jalapenos on my chili, and it is delicious. I've got some lightest Philadelphia. I am planning on making a bit of the salmon TikTok pasta this week, which is what I will be using my spinach in. I also like having spinach and mushrooms here for breakfast, sort of with eggs in omelettes, things like that. Also the tomatoes, again, for breakfast, and I've got some lettuce there, so for some salads also. I've got some fruit here, strawberries and raspberries, just chop them up, another great snack. And I've got lemons because I'm planning on having lemon squash instead. I'm planning on cutting down on my squash and going for some fresh lemon water every day. Just some nuggets for the kids for those nights where I cooking something that they're not going to eat and I just haven't got time to think about doing something more productive than nuggets. They're just always handy. I tend to always go for skimmed milk. Obviously on Slimmingworld you can choose from skimmed, a full fat, whichever milk you want. You just have to look and adjust the volume of it to fit in with your daily Hex A's. Over here, I've got some of the Warburton's protein bagel thins. Now, these are an absolute favourite of mine, and I am actually now going to have these for breakfast with ham and eggs on top. They are lush. I'll show you how I make them. They're one of my favourites. Eggs and beans, always a Slimmingworld staple. Like, this is me for breakfast all week, pretty much. Egg, beans, ham, that is me done, except for the days I'm having cereal. Like I said, jalapenos, sin-free, and these are to go on my chili with my natural yogurt. Waffles for the kids, toilet cleaner. Passata, I always have passata in the cupboard. Again, it's a key base for any of your sauces, bolognese, lasagna, whatever you're making. Sin-free. It's actually a speed, I think, because it's just pure tomato pretty much. Got some pasta. There's a few pasta dishes I want to try, and this just looks a bit nicer than your average twisted fusilli pasta that I usually have. I like these big chunky tubes, so we're going to have some of that. And some crisps. I've ordered the hula hoop puffs for myself. I think these are 3.5 cents a packet. This week, the days I'm at work, I'm intending on taking sandwich and crisps, and then just Monster Munch for the kids. And that is it for my shop. Welcome back. I have been out all day with the kids, a lot longer than I expected to be out today. Actually, we have done a right run round. We've been to the supermarkets, we've been and got the car cleaned, we looked around the garden centre. I got begged to purchase fish, which I'm not purchasing. It's as simple as, Mum, I want a catfish, is only a £5 to them. And you sound unreasonable not getting one. Mate, it is not just a catfish. Okay, anyway, so that is my day. I've just put the kettle on and I'm going to settle down in a minute as I'm still off work, and I'm going to make the most of sitting and watching another movie and just having a little bit more relaxation time before work kicks back in again this year. So I know we've done it a million times. Shall we just go through the book a little bit and what we're doing to prepare for getting back on plan in the new year? So as anyone knows who's been following me for a while, I do follow Slimmingworld. It is my weight loss plan of choice. Now, why does Slimmingworld work for me? I've been on Slimmingworld, not always on Slimmingworld, but I've been following Slimmingworld plan for, I think the first time I actually lost weight on Slimmingworld was just after having Joshua. So, I'd done it a couple of times before then, sort of sporadically, and lost, a stone or whatever. But after having Joshua, I was probably about 3.5, 4 stone above where I wanted to be. And my sister had just lost an incredible 5 stone on Slimmingworld. And I'll add her name on here. She's now on TikTok doing Slimmingworld. If anyone's on TikTok, I want to give her a follow because she posts some great TikTok content as well. So she'd lost 5 stone on Slimmingworld, and I was like, right, I'm not happy with how I look. I had those pictures, pushing the pushchair behind in a dress in the summer and thinking, I'm just not happy with how that looks. I don't feel like me. I'm not comfortable in my clothes. So I chose to rejoin Slimmingworld, and I started with my sister. It's quite a nice event. Like, we'd go together, you sit and have coffee, have a little chat, go to group. I find group really helpful. So it fitted in with me. And over that time period, I did lose about 3 stone. And since then, I suppose a lot of the Slimmingworld methods of cooking and a lot of the way of thinking and what I eat, even when I'm not on plan, my meals, I tend to cook a lot in a Slimmingworld style anyway. So even when I'm not on plan, I am incorporating it into my life and I'm always aware of it. So I find that Slimmingworld is just great because it does fit in. You can do it. It does fit in with family life for me. I can cook nice meals for myself and my husband. They are on plan on Slimmingworld, but they're meals that we can still both enjoy. many meals during the week. I try and cook for all of us. You know, I do have fussy kids, but there's still lots of meals that I can cook that are on plan that we can sit down and eat together. So for me, that is just perfect. That is exactly what I want. I don't want to be on some sort of diet or eating plan where I'm eating separately all the time. I've got to prepare food separately. Juice diets, shake diets, that is not for me. I am a girl who needs a plate of food, and I can have a nice substantial plate of food on Slimmingworld, and that does it for me. As soon as I'm told I can't have something, I want it. Like this week, I don't feel like I want to eat another chocolate ever again. But as soon as someone says you can't have chocolate, I know I'm going to be fancying chocolate this week. But there are plenty of options on Slimmingworld. There is always options for dessert options. There's options for nice big dinners. There's snack options. And that is what works for me. There's other plans, big plans that were around, sort of are more popular. You don't really hear of them so much now. When I first joined Slimmingworld, but they included point systems, and then at the end of the day you could run out of food, and I would be, as soon as I was told you've got no points left, you can't eat anything else, that'd be me done. I'd just be in the fridge. So psychologically, Slimmingworld just works for me. It does. And when I stick to plan, I always lose weight. When I start plan, and like this next week when I get back on it, I guarantee you my husband within a week will say, cool, we've had really nice meals this week. I just cook better, cook a lot more fresh food. I put a lot more thought into what I'm cooking. Like over the last couple of weeks when I haven't been on plan, it's not that I cook in a different way or anything. It's that I don't bother cooking. Like I'll look for easy foods, and I'm not preparing and cooking fresh food, and I'm getting meal deals for lunch, that sort of thing. So I totally eat better on Slimmingworld. There's a lot more fruit and veg and salad in my diet. Like it's just a lot fresher, it's nicer, and I tend to look for more inspiration in meals and ideas. And anyway, that's why Slimmingworld works for me. Fits in with my family. It means I still get to enjoy my food with my husband and with my family. It works perfectly. So as for groups, I enjoy going to group. I'm not going to lie, there's some days where me and my sister, no, we're not staying tonight. We really, we don't fancy listening to everyone. We don't fancy sitting there, but I find group really beneficial. So a lot of people dislike group, but I think, especially if you've got someone to go with, I know it can be really daunting going on your own, but if you find the right group, the group that clicks with you, it can be such a helpful place. I often come away from group, and my group focuses and speaks a lot about food ideas, meal ideas. I know a lot of people say, oh, there's a lot of shame in, there's no shame in any groups that I've ever been to. So I've never experienced this, but yes, they do go round and they do speak to each person, and they may say, okay, so you haven't got the result you wanted this week. Is there anything we can do to help you this week? And then someone might say, do you know what? I get really stuck on lunch ideas. So we'll have a brainstorm, and the whole group will come together and come up with loads of lunch ideas. And it's really handy because people will come up with things that you haven't even ever thought about. Or someone will say, do you know what? I have to commute to work, so I don't get time for breakfast. So other people will come in and give you ideas of a traveling breakfast. And it's just a bit more of a brainstorming. And we have a positive approach in my group. We don't do the negative. I have been to groups before where people will just sit and speak about all the bad stuff they've eaten. Now, we don't speak about that. If something's gone wrong, that's fair enough, right? So last week was last week. That went wrong. What are we going to do to improve on that next week? What can we do? What information can we give you? What help can we give you to improve your next week to help you get the results that you want to get? So ultimately, I find group really helpful and a positive experience, okay? So if you haven't ever been to group and you're afraid to try a group, I 100% recommend giving it a go. You might just find your people, and you might find a group that really works. There are people in my group that have lost like 7-8 stone, and they've been going for years. They're target members. It really is a bit of a community, if anything. If there's a word I would use to describe it, yeah, it is kind of like a community. You can get your Slimmingworld magazine there. You can get your cereal, hi-fi bars and stuff. You can get, my lady Lindsay always has lots of wrappers and boxes and stuff with all the sins. So there's lots more food ideas there. All the recipe books there for you to look at. So it's a great place to get some help and inspiration. Anyway, talking of plan, let's have a quick look through the book, and if you're new to it, or if you just need a little reminder, we will just talk about the basics of Slimmingworld, because that is the other thing. It's such an easy plan to follow, and it is so open to interpretation. So whatever sort of diet or lifestyle you have, there will be a way of tweaking Slimmingworld to fit in with what you want to do. 3 extra easy steps. So you've got unlimited free food. So in Slimmingworld, we have foods called free foods, and free foods are foods that don't hold a sin value. So this means as long as they are cooked without any fat, so if you're using like a fry light or a spray, a cook and spray, which is sin free, these foods are free and you can eat in unlimited amounts. So that does include pasta, that does include potatoes, does include a lot of fruit and vegetables, or all your fruit and vegetables pretty much, except avocados. There might be some other exceptions, but you can see that information in the book. They're all free foods, so you can eat those and you can use those to make up your meals and they'll be sin free. So that makes it very easy to make meals that are sin-free. So fish is free, meat is free, providing any visible fat is removed. You'll have things like minced beef or pork, as long as you're the less than 5% fat version of those meats are free. Sausages and things like that do hold a sin value, so you'll need to check that. There are lots of low sin sausages and varieties of those about now. Ham, things like that, they tend to be free. When you join group, you also get an app, and there is a scanner on the app. And this is one thing that I think is absolutely essential to being on Slimmingworld. I take my scanner, it's on my phone. So I'll be on the supermarket scanning the barcode on all the food, and you'll get to know, it just means that you can see, if you see something you fancy, you can scan it. That's 5 sins. Is that worth the sins? Is that a free food? And you'll know what you're buying, rather than buying something, getting home, realizing that actually it's more sins than you want to eat, so you're not going to eat it. So the second step is your 2 healthy extra A choices and 1 healthy extra B choice. So your healthy extra A choice is like a dairy option. This is like your calcium. So that will be milk, butter, cheese. You get 2 of those. For instance, a low fat cheddar is like 40 grams for a hex A. So that would be one of your options if you use that. And your milk, if you like skimmed milk, I like skimmed milk. Now I can never remember this off the top of my head. It's either 300 or 330 milliliters of skimmed milk for your hex A. If you are someone who only likes full fat milk, or you like coconut milk, or you like oat milk, they are all options that you can have for your hex A. You just need to check in the book and check the amounts, okay? So again, it's very adaptable to fit in with your lifestyle. And then step 3 is your sins. Sins, S-Y-N-S. This stands for synergy. It does not stand for sinful, okay? So when we say sins, again, a lot of people associate Slimmingworld with saying food is sinful and bad for you. This is not what sins means. So sins just means foods that we need to be a little bit more careful with. So we need to have a weighed and measured portion of that. And the way they do that is the food is given a sin value. So that sin value pretty much is actually worked out on the amount of calories and the satisfyingness and the fullness that food is going to give us. So generally sinful foods, the higher sin foods, are going to come in small portions. They're going to be things like all those chocolates we've been eating recently that you can chuck in your mouth and eat and not even know you've had them, because it's one mouthful and it's packed full of sugar and calories, and it's not going to satisfy our hunger. So, this is why foods hold sin values. So other things that will have sin values will be alcohol, ketchup, sauces, ice creams, sweets. That's not to say you can't have them. Okay, that just means that you have to weigh and measure the portion of those that you have. You can also incorporate sins in your meals. It doesn't have to be treat things. It could be because you like cooking in olive oil and you don't want to use fry light or a low sin spray. You might want to use olive oil, so you could use your sins on that. You might like nuts. You might like things like avocado. I can't remember the word for it, but it's like a clever sin or a something sin, because avocado is a sinned food because it's a superfood and it's super good for you, but it does also have a high fat content, which means we have to eat it in controlled amounts. It doesn't mean it's sinful or bad for you or you shouldn't eat it. It just means you need to be aware of how much of it you are having, and absolutely do include it. That is a sin that would be encouraged to be used in your everyday diet. So that is pretty much what Slimmingworld is made of. So you've got your free foods, you've got your 2 hex A's, which is your dairy, and then you've got your hex B, which is, so your hex A is dairy or calcium, and then your hex B, which is your fiber. I didn't even speak about hex Bs. How did you let the hex Bs go? Hex Bs are my favorite thing. So hex Bs are like your cereal and bread. A lot of bread is quite high in sins, but there are wholemeal options. Some of my favorites to use for a hex B is the Warburton's protein bagels, There is Aldi wholemeal essential loaf. 2 slices of those are a hex B. Things like your hi-fi bars, which you can get in group, 2 of those are a hex B. So there are lots of hex B choices. Again, the information on what is a hex B, what is a hex A, and how much of that you can have is all in this book, or you will find that information on the app. A lot of cereals can be a hex B. 40 grams is generally a hex B amount of cereals. The cereals that are likely to be hex Bs are things like shredded wheat or bran flakes, high bran, Weetabix, you know, things like Cocoa Pops and Frosties. They're not going to be on your hex B list. They're going to be holding a sin value because of the high sugar content and probably the lack of fiber in them. They don't come under that hex B option, but you'll be able to find them in your books or using the app. So those are the steps. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. Once you get your head around what your free foods are, and you also have speed foods, I haven't mentioned speed foods. So a lot of your fruit and vegetables, let me just find the page. A lot of your fruit and vegetables would be speed foods, okay? So speed foods are those fruits and veg, which are even lower in calories. So they're lower in calories and they've still got a good filling power. So by eating more speed foods, here's the list of fruits. By eating more speed foods and focusing on these speed foods, you can help accelerate your weight loss even more. It is recommended. So this is where people say, oh, you can eat like as much as you want pasta and potatoes. And yes, you can. But it is recommended that you have 1/3 of your plate as speed food. And I've always been told, and this is a little tip, to put your speed food on the plate first. So fill your plate with 1/3 of speed food. That is a big chunk of salad or vegetables. And then the other 2/3 you can fill up afterwards, either with your free food or meat, whatever you're having. But by filling your plate with 1/3 of speed food, that plate is ultimately going to be holding less calories and it's still going to fill you up and satisfy your hunger. So yeah, in a nutshell, that is the Slimmingworld plan. This is why I love it. You can literally make so many meals totally sin-free, not even using your sins, but you get up to 15 of them a day. So why not use them? You can use your sins for a glass of wine at the end of the day if that is what you like. You could use it for a little Kit Kat at lunchtime if that's what you fancy. They're there to be used. They're there to make your food taste better. So if you want to use them to use sauces, I quite often use jar sauces. And it's just an easier way to cook. Again, it's all about how you take the plan on and how you adapt it. Now, also, obviously, exercise is going to help. It's going to help because it helps in so many ways. It's going to help your sort of mental health. It just gets us motivated. So incorporating exercise with any sort of eating plan is obviously always something that's going to be beneficial to you. I've totally let that go and I am planning I'm going to do it. Even now I'm doubting myself. I am planning on getting back into running next week. I really need to do that. In a little while, I'm going to take my measurements down. Like I said, I've got this Clever Fox planner. I love this. I got it a while back and I haven't even started it because I haven't been very good. I haven't been very much on plan. But this is a great little planner and I am going to start by filling in this front section, which is like, it's got the starting point. So you can put a photograph in if you want. I don't know if I'll go that far. But then you've got all your measurements now and then it says goal, or you can look at them, I think, at the end of like the first month or whatever. There's another section so you can then compare them as you go through the book. It's got little reviews like what were my biggest wins, what were my biggest challenges, how do I feel about my progress, which life areas were lacking and why, and how will I improve next month. So there's lots of bits in there. I am going to do a little food plan and I'm going to fill this out with my measurements. I'm going to do that a bit later. Now, anyway, as I said, I'm now going to watch a movie. I'm going to make a cup of tea and I'm going to sit and chill. I'm not totally back on plan today because today is New Year's Eve and we're having duck and pancakes for dinner. But I plan on getting properly started tomorrow. So I've got a full week before my first weigh-in. I'm going to put some batteries in my scales in the bathroom. So I will weigh myself and then I'll compare my scales to the one in group. So I do only generally weigh in group, but this time I'm going to give it a go and try my home scales as well, because the ones I've got, they actually have an app, so they'll tell you like your body fat and all different things, which I think is quite interesting, and I'd like to know a little bit more about that. So guys, I am motivated and ready to go. I've got a holiday booked, not a holiday, I've got a weekend booked at the end of the month. I'm going to Spain for a long weekend for my birthday. So I would like to be fitting in my jeans by then. I know for a fact that I've got quite a few pairs of jeans that don't really fit right now, which is why you'll find me in my comfy leggings. But I do like wearing jeans, so I would like to get back into them at some point. So I hope you guys have all had a fabulous Christmas. I'm wishing you all a really happy new year. So please, if you haven't already, do subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, turn on your notifications and join me as we head into the new year, getting back on plan with Slimmingworld. I usually have lots of recipe ideas. If you look through my old videos, if you are after some food inspo, there's lots of cooking. I like to incorporate that in my vlogs as well. I look forward to hearing how you've all been getting on. Let me know how your Christmas went. Let me know what your goals are. I don't actually have a particular weight loss goal. I still would just like to lose a stone. That stone I've been trying to lose forever. Yeah, a stone is always a great starting point, and that is what I would like to go for straight away, is a stone. And yeah, just to look and feel better. Like, I felt so good when I was exercising and I was on it earlier in the year, and it just seems to have gone to pot over the last few months. I've been trying to get back on it, but not 100% in the game. And that is what I'm planning on doing now. So yes, happiest of New Year's. Let me know how you've been getting on. Let me know what your goals are, and let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get motivated together and let's hit our targets. Let's make ourselves feel better. Let's achieve what we want to achieve this year and go into the new year strong. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. See you later.